And if she could only hear us. This is how we play.
It's St Valentine's Day at Cheetham School of Music.
Thank you very much.
You getting filmed?
Oh, thanks.
You can't be filming us.
We were like just getting to the age where where you could learn to do some like musical instrument, and they just sort of said who would like to learn. We've got 2 trumpets and 2 violins, so I didn't want to play the violins. I thought it was for girls, so I put my hand up for the trumpet, and like loads of people put it up. I don't know why she picked me, the teacher, but thank you, Mrs. Lehman, for doing that all those years ago.
I want to be a professional musician who plays the trumpet, and I'd like to play in orchestras. I'd love to play in a symphony orchestra. That'd be great as a career.
When did I first conduct? I first was conducting a wall. Someone was at a music course, someone was playing a record of Tchaik violin concerto, and I was conducting this wall and going mad in front of this wall, and the conductor was standing behind, and I didn't know this, and I continued for about 5 minutes, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and I was awfully embarrassed, and he said, "Well, I'll get you on the podium."
Jeremy Carnell is in his 3rd and final year at Cheethams.
Good. No, really walk. I think you have to be very selfish to get anywhere. You have to be your own man, doing your own thing. You have to have your own ideas, and I think it is lonely. I don't mind that. I quite like being lonely, as it were. I've always known that, so I think I've always been like that. I don't really get connected to people too much. But I think if you have such a love for what you're doing, you're never lonely.
My friend used to have a tortoise in the grass, and I used to watch it, and it used to be like this. Yeah. Really? So your strokes must be. Your strokes must be like that, yeah. Da, 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 da. Quite relaxed, slow tortoise. Yeah, don't worry about techniques, yeah. It's just got to have line to it, yeah. Simple tortoise, right, let's try it. Great.
I came to Chets when I was 16 as a cellist, but I always had an interest in conducting.
The
I'm from Norwich. My father was a dental technician, but he died when I was 9. So it's basically just my mother and I.
keep the separation. All eyes on Gerald, not on me. He follows me.
The government pays nearly all my fees. I think my mum pays very little.
Good.
It's this mysterious art and no one quite really knows where it's coming from. No one really understands it. I think it's just a gift, but not many of the teachers understand it, what it is. I don't yet. Still trying to find answers. I mean, there's endless books about it, but when it comes down to it, it's all a gift from God. You solve it, Greg? Good. Support. Good, good.
You well?
Cheethams, in the heart of Manchester, is the largest specialist music school in the country, with 280 students. They combine their music studies with normal school life.
You think, it's flashy stuff. It's not. It's not. Okay? That's it.
260.
Just you go.
No, all of us.
No, because you've got to give a chance for the tuba to speak, haven't you? Yeah? But if you play at that speed, it'll sound really clear, and it'll sound terribly fast. Illusion, a musical illusion, really.
Do, second solo, third.
Because the music world is so tough, even these 9-year-olds are learning the importance of professionalism. But the leavers know that despite all this training, they won't all make it to the top in the outside world. Final year pressures are all too briefly left behind making their kind of music.
When I die, please spare me. In my little white Stetson hat, with a tender breeze on my watch tree.
Nick Coombs has been at Cheethams for 5 years and is leaving for music college this summer.
I had a rough patch for a couple of years. That's been. It kind of ended, that patch, around last October, just before my college auditions. You know, I mean, it wasn't throughout that whole 2-year period, but I just lost self-confidence a bit. You know, and it's hard being somewhere like this because, I mean, there's a lot expected of you, obviously, because everyone's musicians. And if you lose a bit of confidence or something like that, it can be quite difficult. And anyway, I think I did some hard work. I had some help from a trumpet teacher and managed to kind of overcome that. So that's the only time. I'd never had any doubts as to what I wanted to be. It was just a matter of just believing in myself a bit, I think.
Nothing.
Give over. What did you
What?
think?
Even though it was pretty much there,
Hmm.
I didn't entirely have that kind of thing.
Okay.
You know,
So,
feeling. I wasn't absolutely on top of it all the way.
no. But then, you know, how many times you were absolutely on top of it?
Never.
How many times do you think I'm absolutely on top of it?
No, never.
No one ever is. Confidence in themselves. That's the only thing a teacher can, not the only thing, the thing that I try to give them. Confidence within themselves to go ahead and experiment. Not to be scared of making mistakes. To go with what they feel, because basically their instincts are good. They're good lads. They know where they want to go. They know what they want to sound like. They've both improved beyond my expectations. You know, they're brilliant. They're good lads.
Nick's best friend, Ian Pratt, came to Cheethams in the 4th form. He's also leaving in the summer.
I haven't played this for a bit.
I know. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you'll have it's to be able to turn on and to be able to turn off. When it need to be on, you need to be not sort of on. We're not talking dimmer switch stuff here. Full on, full off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing. To know reasonable expectation. You didn't feel good on Saturday. So did you try, how to put this? In the first half, did you try to do exactly the same as you would do if you felt really good?
Yeah.
And what happened?
It didn't really come off.
Okay. When you perform, I'm not saying, you know, ooh, I don't feel good, I'm not going to give my best.
Yeah.
But that, you know, within that, there's an envelope of what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. You know, the ultimate is up here. The rest of it's here, right? The boys are at a tricky time. They're full of confidence, and yet you poke them, and maybe they're not.
John's done a lot for me. Because when I went to him, I kind of lost my confidence a little bit to do with my technical ability, and I think I just lost my drive a little bit, really. And he just sorted my technique out, because, you know, my music and what I was hearing in my head was okay and everything, but it's just I needed to just have a bit more drive on the technical side. And he just explained things very clearly to me, and that really helped me, you know, because he just said the same things over and over again, and he motivated me.
They're both highly motivated. They work. They enjoy it. They're happy. Therefore, they'll do well wherever they go.
I'm going to Berklee College of Music in Boston next year. I got one of the $8,000 scholarships. It's still going to work out pretty expensive to go over there, so like I'm still looking to raise money, really. You know the stuff he says out there. We've wrote off to all these organisations and stuff like that. And then in the end, it's like people who live down the street, like small businessmen, people my dad knows and that. You know, they end up giving you the money, which is great, you know. Community's rallied around for me, but we still need a fair bit. Doesn't look very neat, does it? Are we wearing waistcoats? Yeah. Has anyone got a spare waistcoat?
I'd love to have the money and go abroad to some place like Spain, where I know they don't know the classical repertoire like we do, and I'd love to set up an orchestra there and play and watch people's faces when they're hearing Sibelius 2 for the first time. I'd like to do that. I'll just persistently work, and hopefully I'll make a name for myself, and hopefully the paths will open for me If they don't, I'm destined to do something else. And I'd quite like to go to back to Norfolk and work on the boards. I'd do something in agriculture or something with the land.
Curiously, conducting is not something that specialist music schools have been willing to teach, and Cheethams is no exception, as Jeremy has found out.
I had problems. I wasn't allowed to get the music out from the school library. The librarian said you have to have a member of staff. I asked several members of staff, but they weren't prepared to get it out for me. So I went to the central library and got the parts. But on my arrival back at school, I distinctly remember being told that you're not to do this. And things, you're not supposed to be doing this. But I carried on. I carried on, and it was all undercover, secret, one Friday afternoon, and we did it like this. And it involved me asking every single player in the orchestra, are you coming? Are you all right? Here are the parts. And this took ages, because you have to see everybody at break. I need to see you at some point. Where are you free to go?
No, I've got to go very shortly.
Right. Mr. Duffel helps me when he can, and Mr. Hopkins helps me when I can. But I feel a bit brushed aside by a lot of members of staff as a conductor.
Where's my dad?
I do. Who do know? I've been for the past 2 weeks. We're not saying some
Saturday night is the big night out for the sixth formers, when they can escape into the city.
Yeah, I wanted people to get the feel for it, the elasticity of it.
And tomorrow, is Carnival at 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
For how long?
That'd be good.
I might be going out later.
About an hour.
Fine.
I just want people to get the feel for it and go to the number to see where the difficult bits are.
There's a lot that's expected of you as far as being professional with your music, how you present yourself when you're playing a symphony orchestra concert, how you act towards your practice. So they've got a lot of trust in you as far as that's concerned. We don't have set practice hours, and so they trust us to get down and do our work. But at the same time, they don't trust us to take care of ourselves out in Manchester so much, I don't think. They like to keep an eye on us all the time. Or not all the time, but there are times when I feel a bit policed, I think.
They're 18 years old and they want to go and have a bit of fun. So they do. Some of them really do. Yeah.
I'll see you in a minute.
Hi, Mrs. H.
Hi, you flower. All right.
Yeah.
Hi,
Charles. How you doing? All right.
Hi. Hi. Nice night.
We all moan on about Chets, but I mean, it has been good. I mean, the one thing the first thing that's sorted out for me is my trumpet playing, with John. That has just been like you know, invaluable. Really, it was just great. I've also just been in Manchester. I've got involved in quite a few like out of Chets, you know, bands and that. And I've played in clubs, and that's been as good as anything really, because I've got to play with some professionals, good musicians, you know, and I've just basically got to know people better because I've been in like a bigger musical society.
Jeremy's persistence has paid off. He's been given an orchestra for an hour to rehearse Elgar's Sospiri. He's spent 3 weeks working on it.
I learn the work structurally first. I see where the climaxes are, emotional content, key relations. And then I listen to a few recordings and I take it to the piano. And then I'll often leave it for 4 weeks, absorbing the work, and then it'll come out completely different from anything I've listened to.
Right, let me tell you something about it. It's written 1914 after Falstaff, the big symphonic poem which didn't go too well. And it's written just before the war, and it has a lot of echoes of the last page of the cello concerto. It's this same feeling. So what we must do is, it's all right, it's very difficult beating-wise because of this, it's just so elastic, ridiculously. We must, first of all, you need to sing much more violins. And all our bow changes, we must really concentrate on our bow changes, hitting to the flat of the hair, cello, especially on that melody. Like, open your arm out, and all the bow changes must be like glue. It's just butter. A lot of it is butter. You have to grade your bow changes, yeah, especially in the opening. It must be very subdued. Very deep piece. We don't need to talk about it. We can all feel it.
I think you need to know a lot about the composer as a human being, and you're there to inspire the players and direct them and argue with them and agree with them. I think that the role of the conductor is to help the orchestra.
First bit of chromaticism, yeah, very important. Figure 2, Your sense of sword here, yes? Yes? So open out much more, much brighter sound. Mezzo forte, really, it's quite a large mezzo forte, yeah? Open out much more. It's more intense then, yes? All right, figure 2. That's right now. Funny note.
I think in a few years, maybe 10 or 15, I'll be ready to do something. I need training there. I think I'll be ready to conduct, whether it be amateur or professional. Got no idea. But there's something I want to do, and I also want to play the cello as well. That's my ambition, is to play the cello in orchestras and also conduct. And which way the path leads is not up to me. My destiny is there, and I've just got to follow it and carry on, I think.